Boga also sheme Boga salute you and a quadru also was South Africa muina moshe program we oyankopon and come home papa folks anadri ye betwa Ghana speaks a maiden edition na ye edi kan no menemo discuss a topic discuss and I say nsemfo a me de to ho e me ka ho asem no me tudin socio-political and religious setbacks. Pachosa wote e kwanya esum ana memfensha se free se akonuasa mona musio kabime mi kebio se de ben no kabom ene esum ehia won mu twa wo hu se na fi abe asudie ama me ne omienu e wo sa oman we mu asudie ne that the whole of Africa so these people of color sa asudie no na die so ayen konson hye kon aye efidie a eyiri yen ene biom aye nsuyire kese ena efa yen amem yen ena efa ye de akọ like a flood is sweeping us for well over how many centuries in here. Yedasutim na anadwi me de part 2 e de ba enye better sa o eja wo mu enti sa topic here me de ato ho amamu social political and religious setbacks eno ehun komo ena program ne mo ahia se as of Monday and then Wednesday me beto aso na bibi nti na me ye de ameye ai nan enra akwebi from see Kwaku na won fa expose si nhihia so ntem Kwaku expose them say listen, I am one of a journalist that you can't push me. You won't even push me. 2, I am a journalist, I listen to advice. But then again, I am strong in my conviction and what I think I have to do, at what time and at what period it's necessary to get it done. Ghana for ye huni pebia. Se 1 to 2 wins si wanamo ya ansha udi Ghana for no said omo ye omadena we medi o manimu a obedi o machi. We are like that. Enti me ye nneoma e wo nebreso ebio mamenkai wo say program we enye obi ehu nti enye nipakuo bi ehu nti enye amanyokuo bi ehu nti enye asori bi nti enye osofo bi nti enye politician bi nti enye businessman bi nti ena enye obi anti na Kwaku yede me abetra mamenkama ne nto waso. Yes folks, many are brain and many more kasa. And yet none of the above persons or person, whoever, entina meti how. Na mami ninka so fensha was say ubedi atem ube ye den. Me atem no baby I don't get to see them. Me what try they call Facebook or they call ya bebre mi because production team now say you are either part of us or against us. But on one hand, why wouldn't you rather choose the option of being part of the process or being part of the decision making? And of course, must also allow yourself to be part of the change all of us we wish to see. Dan say, oh, media and say, me kodidi Kwaku Annan atema, me kodidi na atema na we wakwatra Facebook, ni we di atema we di na office why bibia ma. Na wo di matam family we. Wo di matam we new. Meba betra ha. Monday, Wednesday, Friday na my program. So what do you think you gain out of that? Choose the optional. You see, America for no more come and say, listen, we need more options than dramatics. All right? We need more options than dramatics. We've dramatized in this nation, we Kwame Nkrumah era ni free wa 31 years. Monday no wutie me a. Me say 6th of March eba. 6th of March no we design. 6th of March 1957 na Ghana we design. Ghana was the first country in the south of the Saharan African continent to have gained its independence. And shortly after the independence, spirits of gloom, despondency, and moral decadence have become a commonplace. And you think you are happy. I am not. So we nim the ekwa na obi bi se Kwaku no say one kasa kura we di vie sen na wo ka can say Kutu e champion asem say yes. I'm a young man growing. But then it's fundamentally Kwaku is someone who loves learning. I learn, I research, I do a lot. Messages piwa be bre person me ka Kutu e champion ho asem. But you know what, quickly Kutu e champion history ni na no. Like I said, my company, the Hawk Investigations PI, was contracted by Kutu Champions Foundation, which is a launch foundation. This year, September, Airway, Kutu Champions Foundation will be launched in Ghana. Emma Ubiehu, no mapa hontama, na fear who be Bia no Ghana for moving a part of Yabakwa Samoa. But who say your historians in this country, Semka. This documentary, a year, no. Together with Kutu Champion Foundation and Kufuor's Foundation, and Professor Bafo Ajimendia, a man I have a lot of respect for. It's a rich history, you need to watch it. Multimedia, Joy News was given the opportunity, say, woman telecasted documentary, no, woman Oko Miami Private Network, why, Hawk TV, YouTuber, Hawk TV, ye part 1, ye part 2, part 3, no. And I'm Kwemoba, so that you can study and get the rich history, the era of Kutu Echampo, and it your year or Ghana. Tonight, folks, Medemoba Bejina, socio-political and religious setbacks in the part 2. Amania Yehu Ewa Africa ha, Ebra, the white supremacist, Ede Esum Benya. It depends on which womb. I don't want to center it primarily on just Christianity because we bring out is a good year as one year Christian. Me a Christian or me a Christian, it's neither, that's inconsequential. So long as Kwaku Ejitum say Onyankopon ewo it's close. The American would say Kwaku Jitum say there is God there and any area. Because mi jitum so Nyankopon wo ho. At least I believe that God forms the complex network of the galaxy. Now the realm esora na bezi ho. Unim say ade etumi sa ene ade chie. Eno na kire so bibi ho. Me ka kire akwa bi say wonyi Nyankopon kura ni no. Wodi wani ehu mframada. Ha? Yesi. Wodi wani ehu mframada. Enframa unim ne kala. Se wonyi Nyankopon ni a ene hwe se de enframa esitie the air oxygen. On se wo akwala to ho a hospital ho no. Se akwala no anye hwen a na chese asem osi. E de na be ma wire hwen right there. Oxygen. Nti wonyi bibie ni ahu se to me bi wo ho. There's a God who controls the galaxy. And you must believe that he is, and I may say, the God that was and is to come. Jidiso owo. Nemom ekwanya obi fa so. Emma ube hu Nyankopon bia enye de Nyankopon na ebia menu mienu ye fe se oye de Nyankopon that we know. Because nobody deceive anybody. How would you settle what ho? No biaba. A God who looks like him, not like you and I. When Nyankopon was sesa nipa no ne niama eye blue, a blonde hair and all kinds of being. Otiso ono wonte se mene wo na se fa no som no ye bibia wo de sa di be fam wie na o san de esum bi nso so ana ade bi su baya o se eden a democracy yemfa democracy emfa nante wasase na democracy ne ba ne mfie dodo sen nie century dodo sen nie na etumi etu anamon ama wiase akodi ni mu ana. Folks, fasten your seat belts emre me no be sua de but the obeya ama me say every call a friend unu bi wo half asinin or boko or nyamransa or wa tumu friend no aka chen so onmie ni TV station obi ni TV so sorry ni TV no obi a man flip it through or hwehwe station be a CTV and a class TV. But me penese obebo say CTV on hwehwe CTV when yakra no ko Go TV wo decoder no a wo Go TV no a koso okwa na hwehwe screen through wo be hu CTV ho na hwe when timi kra no yeden Ko social media handles no ko YouTube type my CTVGH simple my CTVGH no we and I call Facebook my CTVGH not just a program no wo hwe me quickly yebekọ enim so ma menya sa announcement yi say we corporate organization and ankra na saying bibia mo ye ebia mo ton product ana bia mo ton enro ana whatever it is bomodia na tu anamon na bra CTV ha say ana fre sa number 024-764-0312 number we me use and me sure say Friday ebeba so na fi mama a reliable line you betumi di dwuma but between and nekosi ochina wo pese wo be adverts ana oba me ye bo product bi hu dero emawa all corporate organizations ankra said them moye monioma uton enro muton aduane muton products bi mo pese wiase na ehu sa products na bomoden akonya ewo ho ema oba ye be announcement na mo ana so se wo pese wo ye den oba studio ha me ye interview live interview ewo studio ha eno so akonya ewo ho ema ye be ye interview ne abo dwumedie no hu dero e de ama ema Ghana fo ni wiase sanse program we enam wiase baabia na Ghana fo hu products na mum hye no so se koye aduane ana eduro a ebe no makoye mu a dia mesre o se ye ne se ko na Food and Drugs Authority for certify the quality and efficacy of the drugs and yes I mean to me enka wasem bombodin ye ntem because encho ebebu afaso now week way me no nancy through we are on the path of this journey way me person me conscientize Ghana for me hwade bi se ye chia ya san ya kwa ye ntimi nko ye nimu da no eye de me no ka ho asemi sa topic ya me de ato ama eno na me de gigi weni kakra wo hwe bu kompo enipa wonam wiase a se brano ubu kompo hwe wechi se kwabena kwadwo kwame na me kosa nie na se na me ko no so no edi nti na me kosa na wahwe wabra bonum se anamoto ni nkoyi a begin to identify your shortfalls and correct them enu nti na me ne mo ahye ase wo sa topic we na topic we dodo na aso gidi se edi enya dodo well ebusiafo yesi kwam but quickly my main find just say in SMBC there's this developing story and also a hard dream papa said the center cannot hold menemo ka say the August House ho ejato ho bija nipa aswa yehye the governing party edomku ewo parliament no call it the slight majority or slight whatever you may call them MPP side ho no eja ato ho bija ma chese omodwina omhwe kra enye kokoso enye kokoso simple party ni mpanimfo any kokos na wo efie ho no so omoto ato adwene na moye den ye hwe se sisia if mu pese mu change baton no a okay sisia no from Chemensa Bonso on hand over mahwan kwame na afenyo marking whoever net what was we enkwasa o Menemoka said there's a crunch meeting currently ongoing at Hemfa Jubilee House. And I'm sure say before this program close, I may give you some breaking news story. Of course, this is a developing story we are gauging and we'll give you up to the minute development and how things are ongoing. The center cannot hold. But I tell the MPP say a lot is on the way coming up. Because we're Joe Wise crowd walking, as though some members of the party are beginning to fight Joe Wise one way or the other. Saying the center simply cannot hold. ANSMP, well, tonight the Frontline is airborne, 33,000 above seabed, and of course, together with the entire team, my camera guys, yes, Samson is in the house, friend is Amando, and of course, MCR. Joshua is there, director of TV. Same Adenu is there. Great guys giving me all the backing, the support to ensure say the program to come the amount. Now, quickly, say WhatsApp messages in whatever. Lots of them, I'll read all of them before Ansana. Memami Musu Ifri, I say WhatsApp line here 024-764-0312. 024-764-0312. Nanyamaina Adetana Kwemu. Come on. Now, tonight on Ghana Speaks, I bring you the part 2 of our maiden edition on Monday titled Socio-Political and Religious Setbacks. Mobekaya. And in this edition, we shall unveil the deep secret blueprints prepared and unleashed by a well-captivated and charismatic leader of Belgium in 1883, when King Leopold II of Belgium declared a religious war on Congo. When we say on my Congo way, now we are here about African copy. On my Congo, I represent here African Cup. Now, me salute Congo for. Because the kind of tournament, just a course war, Ivory Coast, Agropramaswa, Congo for a ball, no. Maybe. And you know Black Stars, you. Congo for Eshe Congo, or mine enemy Nyampa. No one most there were about 3 teams. Can I say South Africa? Yes, Nami Rutuma, South Africa. Nami Rutuma, South Africa. Nami Rutusuma, friend is saying Nigeria and Ivory Coast. Because my relatives be was our country see movie. But Congo for me Bowama Baso papa for the fact to say Congo your maibia. Womo abreye entokwa esi kwana kwaye womo e kan say kwaye research about Congo. Any amania on my Congo no akom na hwade ni na sa amanie ni ohawe Congo for na akom ni kire say ifri bebi ifri o eno ho nkomo na anadwemi ni obedi bie ifri bebi ifri because of womo colonial masters ekwan bonia womo do womo fa so chinchim wo madwene through psychology, through hypnotization, through dogmatization. Enyama bebre me catch mo Monday wo awunya program ne hwe ne me catch ewiase bibia anya hu ene obia ne hu nya hu se de watwetuo wo so epese okun sa abre ne hu nya hu even though epese say de ball no okun ya wekun wo ko baabi but de ne hu nya hu no eye dia wafa kweti kwan bi so no obema wabeye akoa na wasom no nkwada nyina mu folks me say enya asem kito na Kwame Nkrumah nim sentia oka say the independence of Ghana no enye enough na opeso de Africa na boom together ne yeden or emancipate yen or liberate yen ene ene. And you know what e be before suni e ban to say nkoto ba ku ko enimu ane atwena sign. And ever since that spirit of the pull down syndrome, that spirit of the setbacks, roadblocks and booby trap in free Africa that no. Sema Congo on my way 1883 and abrofi tukwa hye wo so e dane wo madwene e de no mre ko e yasumu me be kan krata na kire oninie krata na da ha no me be kan a kire mo e kwan a wo mo fa so a wo mo sesa the brainwashing, the mindset dane wo madwene men ne Congo abed eno mu wie no mo dane wo madwene no mu twa ntokwa e di si kro num and you say the whole African Ghana, even though I say Nyaman Queen, but there is some sense of reasoning be what I say. A year there, your a baby a yebusi, I say a funny afan car and interest and mountain for me from with you. To own say, less any more din crass and Tom and roof if not pie near ye some dear. But I might be so dear no and yes, sir. Who read the history of Rwanda and SMP, Hutus and Tutsis, a nipple ye. All because of this Western world. Now, Congo, on my critical way, let me break the news to you. Say Congo, the whole global mineral deposit, about 50% of the mineral deposit is to Congo. That is why in Tia owns Abrofono, 8 me aye runway, ewo wirim kwaye mu ho nti aircraft ni free say London or say Britain or whatever say America etimi be lande ewo kwaye mu ho enko airport o mutumi the aircraft e lande wo kwaye mu ho na o masesa gold, diamond, bauxite, cobalt. Now one of essential material mineral ewiase ye hia e dia ye niam bi ti say ade esi menim laptop, camera si esi menimi, mobile phones we, aircraft engine, printers, and many electronic appliances is being generated by a material called cobalt. Go and research. Congo produced the 56% of the global mineral deposit called cobalt, copper, zinc, iron. Oh yes, some of you know, some of you don't. And that is the reason why in Abrofuni ni Bria, wamudin to kwakasie ekoshe Congo no mu confuse mu through their religion, because assume dia it will couch you into submission. Assume bia say yeah dear, assume bia to all of them. Assume bia one is psychology be couch you into submissiveness. Christosum, the Muslim religion, Hare Krishna, the Gnostics, the Masons, the Buddhists, the Hindus, all across. Entina yemfa assuming niagro. Now, yenko krata we mu ne yenhwe kwan a sa Europeans yi womode esum eko capture the people of Congo no womadwene ema womu lose womu sense of dignity and womu identity. Now this letter was written by King Leopold II of Belgium to colonial missionaries in 1883. And omochro krata we sa time no na abrofo ne nenam African continent ni mu womu eyeden ede womu esom nam a womu dane yadwene enti King Leopold no ono de krata ne koma missionaries na womu wo Congo ni say mumfa asem wei emfen koma Congolese fo na monna ne wo madwene say be ya yebenya access to their mineral deposits ye ntuni na amfanko esom called religion Christianity. Now documenting here, shall we? Or see, quotes, reverends, fathers, and dear compatriots. The task is that given to fulfill is very delicate and requires much tact. You would go certainly to evangelize, but your evangelization must inspire above all Belgium interest. Your principal objective in our mission in the Congo is never to teach the niggers to know God. This they know already. Monday no moti de amekachiremu. Kachiremu say, Obronini be ura Africa 15 centuries ago with their sea safaris no. Ni enim Nyankopon de dawo. Even Ghana, all the 16 regional capitals, trust me. Every tribe, how many tribes in Ghana? Each tribe be nim kwan ya mofa sofro Nyankopon. I swear to God, we know it, and that's fact. And I am all obia. Enti nye broni no no obekira wo say kona kobi sa unananom. Enti wo say they know God already. They speak and are submit to Mungu. One in Zambi, one in Zakumba, and what else I don't know. They know that to kill, to sleep with someone else's wife, to lie and to insult is bad. Or say no munim say atro die ne sabi unu obi rebeda no eyichwade emayen. Now listen. Or say have courage to admit it. You are not going to teach them what they know already. Your essential role is to facilitate the task of administrators and industrials, which means you would go to interpret the gospel in the way it would be the best to protect your interests in the parts of the world. For these things, you have to keep watch on disinteresting our savages from the richness that is plenty in their underground, to avoid that they get interested in it and make you murderers. Competition and dream one day to overthrow you. Also, your knowledge of the gospel would allow you to find text ordering and encouraging your followers to love poverty. Like tiha, to love the poverty. And or the adibi shall say, quote, happier are the poor because they would inherit the heaven, unquote. So say, one with the share Bible no. Or sin in Shanka mo amuya den ehia for a sense or sura himemu and a yedia. Who said on my madrini? Yes, Rio. Or say, and quote, it's very difficult for the rich to enter the kingdom of God, unquote. You have to detach from them and make them disrespect everything which gives you courage to affront us. I make reference to their mystic system and their warfare protection, which they pretend not to want to abandon, and you must do everything in your power to make it disappear. Your action would be directed essentially to the younger ones, for they won't revolt when the recommendation of the priest is contradictory to their parent teachings. The children have to learn to obey what the missionary recommends, who is the father of their soul. You must singularly insist on their total submission and obedience. Avoid developing the spirit in the schools. Teach students to read or not to reason. Womun chreyen adie to read. Womun chre said ye be hu akenkan na emum nya said ye bedwene. And the truth to the sense of the letter. Africa, we love reading, but yintimi sebe emfa nyoma nkwa dwendwen mu. Ya dwemu wo ha. Ya dwemu eha all over Africa, that's the fact. Or say there dear patriots are some of the principles that you must apply. You would find many other books which would be given to you at the end of this conference. Evangelize the niggers so that they stay forever in submission to the white colonialists, so they never revolt against the restraints they are undergoing. Recite every day, quote, happier are those who are weeping because the kingdom of God is for them. Or say, convert always the blacks by using the whip. Keep their women in 9 months of submission to work freely for us. Force them to pay you in sign of recognition. Goats, chicken, or eggs every time you visit their villages. And make sure that niggers never become rich. Sing every day that it's impossible for the rich to enter heaven. Make them pay tax each week at Sunday Mass. Makapen. Me say, we ye Christopher Nedia. Adia ye friend of the tight etrim. And sorry be a moje tight, Missy Munyai. Etrim, more assuming himself will go all can in a crap. Collection of tight, me see etrim achieve the usefulness. It's outmoded and ye drumebium. But when him said tight and mood ye di qua. As of when he be more moje title, my sword there, Missy Mujedi. Now, Shahem, or say, and make sure that niggers never become rich. Sing every day that it's impossible for the rich to enter heaven. Make them pay tax each week at Sunday Mass. Use the money supposed for the poor to build flourishing business centers. Institute a confessional system which allows you to be good detectives, denouncing any black that has a different consciousness contrary to that of the decision maker. Teach the niggers to forget their heroes and to adore holy hours. And I'm a ko event saying University of Legon, University of Ghana, Koho, Nako events and KNUST, all the premier universities in Ghana and all the institutions of higher learning. Nakoshe say courses na now I don't even want to go into other things. Kohona koshe courses na ye nuanom no bi wo mo ye wo ho no. Eye course a ade a ya kire book no mo no. Efa u heroes ho. And therefore mo ho the business books, the political science books, the psychology books, none of them could be said to be that of something that was generated from our time. Nina political science, for example. Ukokin kan nyoma ewa 11-12 century politics nyoma course aristocrats na Aristotle na Karl Marx and nyoma nyoma ni yesu. And you know what? You have students at Ehimfa Legon. Obewie no Ghana bakwasem woso omo ba akoso nkyere wo wontimi. Oka say, look, give me a history of Rawlings. Give me a history of Kwame Nkrumah ontimi. Meanwhile, or your political science student but ontimi ma Ghana political history. Why? Because I didn't know what you will go on. Ni nara ayobi e man swadisua. By the way, Bible no cry wo kind. Bible say you be history. Bible ni be history. Anamebwa. The Bible is a history of a group of people living somewhere in Tel Aviv, somewhere in Jerusalem, somewhere in Bethlehem. Where? Where is you? And the most sad part of it is, when they were writing the book, they could not even factor you and I in the Bible, in the written of the Bible. And it's Sunday, no, so for nebe John no Bible, no. We are. And this is a job, a job such as say, nobody questions him. The man of God preaches and nobody can question until he's done. Really? Oh, how they've changed our minds. Now, Shahir, or say, never present a chair to a black that comes to visit you. Don't give him more than one cigarette. Never invite him for dinner, even if he gives you a chicken every time you arrive at his house. Quote, the above speech, which shows the real intention of the Christian missionary journey in Africa, was exposed to the world by Mr. Mukwani Buko, born in the Congo in 1915, and who in 1935, while working in the Congo, bought a second-hand Bible from a Belgian priest who forgot the speech in the Bible, Dr. Chidiozi Okoro. Or say, we should note, one, that all missionaries carried out and still carry out that mandate. We are all lucky to have found King Leopold's articulation of the aim of all Christian imperialist missionaries. Christians what? Underline the word. Imperialist missionaries to Africa. Two, even the African converts who today manage the older churches in Africa, the priests, bishops, archbishops, cardinals, etc. of the Roman and Protestant sects, and especially also those who evangelize born-again Christianity still serve the same mandate, which is why they demonize African gods and angelize African names and drop the names of African deities which form part of African names and still attack and demolish the African shrines that have managed to survive. Example, Okija. 3. Those Africans who voluntarily converted to Christianity before the colonial conquest, such as Afonso I of the Bakongo in the 15th century, probably did not discern the purpose of the brand of Christianity that was supplied to them, which was probably why they fell easy prey to the missionaries and the white traders and pirates who followed them. But their Japanese counterparts probably did discern the game, even without access to some vision of Leopold's letter. But even if the Japanese shoguns did not institute what Leopold makes explicit, they clearly realized the danger of Japanese converts to Christianity forming fifth column within Japanese society and state, a fifth column loyal to their co-religionists in Europe. To rid Japan of that danger, in the late 16th century, the shoguns began their expulsion of Portuguese and Spanish missionaries on the grounds that they were forcing Japanese to become Christian, teaching their disciples to wreck temples, taking the trading slaves, etc. Then in 1596, it became clear to the Japanese authorities that Christianization had been a prelude to Spanish conquests of other lands. It quickly denounced on them that a fifth column loyal to Rome and controlled by the priests of a foreign religion was a clear and present danger to the sovereignty of a newly unified Japan. Soon after, the persecution and suppression of Japanese Christians began. Early in the 17th century, sensing the danger from a creed that taught obedience to foreign priests rather than the Japanese authorities, all missionaries were ordered to leave, and all Japanese were ordered to register at the Buddhist temples. When Japanese Christians took part in a rebellion, foreign priests were executed. The Japanese were expelled, and Japanese Christians were forbidden to travel abroad. After another rebellion, largely by Christians, was put down, the Japanese Christians were suppressed, and their descendants were put under close state surveillance for centuries thereafter. In the 1640s, all Japanese suspected of being Christians were ruthlessly exterminated. Thus, did Japan, by 1650, save itself from the first European attempt to mentally subvert, conquer, and colonize. Is this Christianity? What a those a Bible no there are histories be a better say. People were beaten, people were maimed, people were crushed into what? Accepting Christianity. Now as somebody na see a bo and say you boom pray. Trawo mba wo wechi say jitum sem pesem eh Christ asam na mu ken. Mame fancy him. Or say the African captives who were taken abroad and enslaved, and the Africans at home after the European conquest have already been forcibly deprived of their autonomy, were in no political position to resist Christianization. Thus, the Christianity still practiced in all of the African American diaspora, just as that in the African homeland since the start of the 20th century continues to carry out the Leopoldian mandate. Hence, for example, where is the white born agains? Listen, where is the white born agains of the USA when in the US Navy ships in WW second sank? Quote, praise the Lord and pass the ammunition, unquote. The attitude of African born again converts today is best summed up as praise the Lord and lie down for the manna, unquote, quote unquote. I say thanks to a century or more of this Leopold mandated missionary mind control, African Christians are not an activist, self-helping, economically engaged, politically resolute, let alone militant bunch. Hence, they are putting up with all manner of mistreatment and exploitation by their misrulers, white and black. The most they are disposed to do to their misrulers is to admonish them to, quote, fear God, unquote, as one protester's miserable placard read in last week's Lagos demonstration against the latest of the Medros fuel price hikes by the OBJ misgovernment. The idea of an uprising to tame their misrulers is alien to the religious appiated frame of mind of the Nigerians. The lesson in the contrast between Africa, that the Christian missionaries brainwashed and subverted, and a Japan where this brainwashing and submission was forcibly prevented, to stack and clear. The people of Congo womode womo efa asuni na afi ni bebi yi enime bi a kyerɛkyerɛ mo me kan we wie no kyerɛ sɛn shortly after their religious ideologicals and dogmatism no enioma womo eye yede kyerɛ ebibifo no eye enioma wodwen ho a wonti ase. Now folks, I present to you yet another British scholar who traveled length and breadth of Africa in anticipation to discover the DNA of this people of color. However, in his quest of discovery, Lord Macaulay proposed the roadmap for the British Parliament and suggested the following: how Africans can be subdued. Mebe bon foni achiro. Na mfoni a mebe bo achiro wi enipa Oshem emomutu sa na mo friend Lord Macaulay. na papa yi ochi Africa na both north, south, east and west. Na nyoma o discover no wa wo ba betie. Wo ba betie. Na o discover we no e na okọ Britain and on the British Parliament etna se e na o catch them say, "Hey, Africa wo hu se betimi a capture Africa." Media makoho enyoma mi hu ye ne ye 1 a2 a3. Enti se pese e capture them dia ene mo me mfa saa kwan we so. E kwan ben and a Lord Macaulay or directed the British Parliament in so monfaso. Take a listen to this.
Yes, 1835. It's 2nd February. 2nd February, no. 18 degrees in Aquarius. 30 degrees Aquarius. Planet Saturn and another ho. And now the identities and another ho. Hey, new. Say Saturn, every new be a say, or challenges. My media to also so say very one day. And I'm going to go Lord Macaulay, no, honor, no phone in the honor. Ha, the moves are another hon. Anna, meet your Mokoye, no. Nina, eh, your friend say, summary, and I'm the other two, and I'm a can't I say, I have traveled across the length and breadth of Africa, and I have not seen one person who is a beggar, who is a thief, a wealth I have seen in this country. Such high moral values, people of such caliber, that I do not think we could ever conquer this country unless we break the very backbone of this nation, which is her spiritual and cultural heritage. And therefore, I propose that we replace her old and ancient education system, her culture. For if the Africans think that all that is foreign and English is good and greater than their own, they will lose their self-esteem, their native culture, and they will become what we want them, a truly dominated nation. And Lord Macaulay addressed to British Parliament on 2nd of February 1835. I say, Metu manante etifi anafo eboya toye ewa bimemu na mehu ni baba kokora o yesresrefo mehu ni baba kokora okomokwa mehu se obia aye kromfo anase mehu krono se bia so ho enkrofo yi omudie enkrofo no omudie mo ho na enkrofo no so omubra mo ase na omubuade mamre no mama ne bibia di mu me sankrofo yi bida na sankrofo yi dia me nyine da se ye betimi edi omusunkunim na ye pese edi omusunkunim ya awo se omochi bremu dia backbone yetumi eye bibi fa ho se ye bebubu no na omo sa eti bremu.
Folks, so what say? Well, Adriano said he see a juma. And before they are where you go Africa, a bunch of whatever you may call us. But I tell you, Abranti be cannot symbol America say ever since Oko US. Abrofo no man 19 and be brain is for money or more control businesses near there. But not once that Brunina and Adrian said on any tear crowd to say no or Beb Shreno say, oh, we are the blueprints here, the years I don't know, obey me at Shrenada on yet. And they won't do it. Until before, ye dear black people, dear ye bet me aye, and so at the boy and Cassiam. Mo politics ya mo ye wo memu he krai. They said the Musiachi Ghana Kizio, Ghana, you crooked. We are just a dot. Ghana is a dot located at the epicenter of the world. We are a dot located at the epicenter of the world. Your population is saying 31 million. Hello. Now Nigeria for one can say Nigeria 37 federal state. Nti ebetimi aka say Abuja mpo bia ebeso achi Ghana meboa. Nti say Abuja any Ghana mpo be pa. Huh? Abuja yemfa how many government officials NSOMO ye yiwomo as ministers, as high-ranking government officials, as municipal district chief executives? How many people should work for the government in Abuja? So, if Ghana is like an Abuja, nessa wo abayin ebeba na ubeyi 126 again, 126 ministers to govern this nation. Madness. Abodan for yadwini nya adwuma. Yadwini ene nya adwuma. Politics nsem dem de mu be wuramu o. Na niema mu be hu wo man we mu no hu bi da. That's why I make a tell say menya kwaduro. This program is a learning curve. Eya disua. Nioma ese wusua no e wo Ghana ha no e doso ese wusua niema bebre. You need to learn a lot. 126 ministers. So President Adodan Kwaku Annan, 126, and he finds every means to justify why 126. Osone iswa bedru nanu yano. Ino obenya saying 86 ministers. Nano former President John Dramani Mahama Obaye no say no. With the 16 Ebeko. Baumia, His Excellency the Vice President, was shot needing or say kai Jack, I need to drop or she knows no, I need to drop the numbers, I need to drop it. I have to change the equation. Baumia has to change the call sign. The Vice President Alhaji Muhammadu Baumia sees, hey, Jack, I saw changing the call sign. Or say me, drop it down. 50. But you know what? The sad part of it is that Vice President Alhaji Muhammadu Baumia is still with the government and sees something wrong with even the 86 ministers. Yet, he's just at the corner enjoying all about what? So why would Vice President criticize the 86 ministers? Do you know the sad part of it? And the most part, I find it very insulting from the Vice President. And the Vice President, oh, yes, video. Now what when you I don't know, maybe Friday or Monday, I'm going to do some exclusive idea. Now, who Vice President Alhaji Muhammadu Baumia? Who the idea? Should I say? You are trying to, as it were, secure yourself a comfort leader. A government you've been part of. You are not even proud of the legacy of yourselves and the rest. You are trying to shift the goalposts, shift shape approach. But Ora Baumia, he said, the ministers say appoint to Oma Mani Balu Bedru 126, and many of them rided on the shoulders of the Vice President to become ministers. True or false? The answer is true. And Vice President Alhaji Baumia, some of these ministers pass through Vice President's office. Municipal and district chief executives, high-ranking government officials, many of them almost pass through Baumia's office. Now we are, we be Ghana for yenim. Abe catch them and say me Kwaku Annan. Let me speak for myself. We be catch them and say, I feel the Uber about 50 ministers. Go and tell the Marines. Oh, they already be bini wadwene omede aye. They don't broni na ma wu hu ni kro. Na de ya na ye, I call it miscarriage and travesty of justice for a black man to come rule the country and then subject the entire nation, the citizens of the nation, same through that of what the white man did to us. And that's the most painful part of this whole democracy. Complete rock. A kwanya broni edi bibini fa so a o say yen edi yenya no wonua bibini ba o se me beto so the same road map na ya dodo ente the broni ni ye no all up to him 1830 something abolition of the slave trade. Enough. Let's sit down and let's begin to devise our roadmap. He said the only African leader me sorry na me salute no what is happening in Rwanda. Paul Kagame Kagame. And sooner rather than later, Rwanda would begin to lead and change the narrative. I'm telling you folks, and yet you know, most sorry, you proud yourself. Ghana, gateway to Africa, a beacon of democracy, golden age of business. Akufo-Addo no the best also. Do you remember? Ozideng. Ghana beyond aid. Ghana beyond aid. Before our very eyes. Now President Adudankwa Akufo-Addo has written a letter to the events and then former Minister of Finance. Ken Ofori and Ataka. Ositro, terms of Maunayan terms of IMF ko na President Akufo-Addo refi say, "Hey, one ma Ghana for what to say Ghana beyond aid." Na mo refi mo. Ghana beyond aid. What me person me dem fasa kwan we so minyan wura politics nsam o de beba what ma me ma ya adwene ne mrefie ne enhwe ni bebia ni hia me. I don't want to be tempted to sway off there. Now listen, one more year we no in a related development, the late Queen Elizabeth, whose grandfather King James, who wrote the King James Bible, unimza kokona kwa he, go and check, who wrote the King James Bible, was seen in a video throwing what? Popcorn to African children as though she's rearing chicken. Until is here when you're a baby, Queen Elizabeth. One ne papa tro King James Bible Miami ye King Kanim niade. One also ye sha no no su ejina ho a before ma mintimi uzo me Ghana fo ma uzo me Kenya fu uzo me Zimbabwe uzo me den o enkran kra egu na maami to popcorn mom se mon sesa awo ye mobo hwe we ye Ghana ni peni we dwon bank we ye minister we ye high ranking government official municipal chief executive we ye journalist we ye mason carpenter eye sunkakrama on wate not because we be ewu but suma on ho say we ye bibini na we ye Ghana ni Mommy and me kakrawate. Iranum. Mesramo. Mommy nya atinka kakrebio. Fema woman wate. Won't say the patriotic songs nina yeto. All right, but the patriotic songs no longer drive us. The patriotic songs envisage what? Patriotism. Owing a narrative. Owing something that tells a story about who you are. It's no longer there. Queen Elizabeth. And what to popcorn ego is a Yansesa popcorn in oh, Africa be before. And in the Hebrew for one Troy is a cardboard on Yakup when Yama boy. Take a listen to this. It was saying, Unza Konopa Akono fe it be before ma. Yeah, it's a sap popcorn. And who say, I dear whom phrase or muye. Wait a minute here. Who say, it's a transient tool. It's like a cancer cell. It eats into us deeply. It corrupts our brains, our mindset into as we speak. How many centuries then? Now, those are all over Africa. We still would go. I'm not saying this to us to degrade a, but the credit down is still. Ye ko abrochimemu eko tase debia second hand goods. Ko market ochina kokrom especially obese hu a ko La Paz udru La Paz a the biggest traffic lights na here, all the way to Nyameche, all the way to Kwashima. Ekwana no win na den na hu. Second hand goods nkwa. Ye kwa na yakose sun in containers. Oh yeah, mobo. And Brony will not respect you, trust me, folks. Nasa what ha? What a gun ha? Then the American government will come and say, hey, we need to have some negotiations with you. We want to come and build their air base. One of the was asked you, air base. Yeah, they are soldier for Asra for air bawu man. Hey, me na me demi man am so no. All because of the US supremacy. He wants to still remain as the world's most superpower into Obabe Sini air base by force. No, I'm always kakumebi. Now, Minister for Defense, Nitiwu. Na eyende de nenia jise keke. Nitiwu ade ofi bimbile ba no. I quite remember when events Nitiwu ba Parliament House foforo. I was a correspondent to Parliament. Na me hwe papa ye nimpa na me hwe se de Nitiwu la area se nipa nchen wa sesa wo. Ene ye kan ye se wo pese wo hu be ma ho onden a mane nyi sika na hwe ade. Ene oni obi contest or kire nipa no say yeah, today he controls the military. Cheneni passes Brunina Beshe was assassins, so also the open or the amount. Don't say Yakwa Europe, America, Britain, the ye na ye sebi nyado sebi kronto sebi. It was for one of what degree saying Dr. Professor Den Ubeyen Kusi Jumama Brunian Sako. Well, Obino can some questions remain. What is this gift? What is this gift of setback, self-pity, and full of isolation from our white supremacists called Christianity offered to us, and how impactful on us? Edieni achedi ya omudi abre ya sa achedi. Ama yehu ye ho se ye ya bomfian. Ama yehu ye ho se ye nye nipa biai. Ama yehu ye ho se ye nte ye nsem fatai. A gift ben, the gift of a son. And on the brain. Well, tonight, yet one of our own is going to tell us what this Christianity is all about. There may be a batch which says, "I feed ye yankasa yemu nipa baakon a onu so ye bibini." Why ready so person o ka kire me no mi enu say ampa. Esom ye Kristo som e woni nsunsu aso e we me no mi enu so. Na o kire mu a no wo kire me say ne nsunsu aso no e ye nsunsu aso ben a. To obo asna tie no. O ye osofo. Afi wo kire o nsunsu aso a at some at the abremino. Take a listen to him carefully. Watch this.
Amen. Satan kasa okono de chijai. I am sorry to announce to you, sir. Say asana ya kasa mumewuram. Na moba onyame de wajia to mama ya baba mumiri no. Bonsana na kabushia na wose mudwane no. Sese on free gate na chine ewura sori no mubiem aya sofo na. Besirawo gira Kristo mo buru mu na kasa kirawo. Sese una so dan sura so dem. Acha funu. Aso dem aye hu chan roba okutatuo. Cause asofo dey udifo. Kanani asemranti aba de pesika. Enya no koro biom ena asoro ni pesika omu do sika che asoro ba owu ena odi funu ko sia so dem na se nipa de do ko no ehia wa asoro ba ye ofusu mama ofie senso so ehia de ba dem a ye ba so foketo na abeshia so ye ba ma wa abeshia so a offering na ye ba fa asoro ni do sika che nipa meka wo ja hako. But when the problem of the church is impeding the progress of this country. Disunity, separation from the church. Now, if you are not closer to the churches, you will not know. Father, come here and say, "Media me do." Father, come and say, "Please, do that fast." And now say, "Me mama, all out to Father, come." Say, "Mama, sorry, the theater." What boy? Yeah, can for. What basic can I hear? Yeah, this can mama. Yeah, no, yeah, most of the man are white. I saw them some problem in our son. I don't know uncle. Media near you. I saw the typical media pass.
Well, I have a great sense of respect. I'm also for your Kasai. He's a brother. Kukubofo. The Krubi obey me, I come with us in our culture, or your software. Wherever he may be, the soon young couple in Shirano. Yes. The Krubi is so can't a chill. Mawutin and a waka. Or say the church is doing what? Impeding progress on this nation. And your nation, Ghana, the whole of Africa. Me catch on Monday in say, she upe esumpa se Argentina say nipa at the continent Africa. Uko Asia unhuriwo. Uko Arab world unhuriwo. Europe, se si akrade in Europe. And sorry, no, unimade omode in sorry no omo temples ne whatever. Omo converted their beer bar na mania de. That's not what I'm preaching for. But there me person me wuti asene say Nyankopon wan show bia se bra na bisi aso dan. No. Munyaka and troning nada na doso. God has not asked anybody. Is it another confusion that is also about whether God and Jesus Christ and all that the three Trinity which is when the there's the pivot Israel. Yes, I saw that ben we see you. Obino can ask him or saying he came from Judea and then to Galilee and then he was baptized. Yeah, my producer is smiling. Folks, are who? Bronini to whom say? Or Sophia can the crabby actual to go media at home. Maybe I make say all these cathedrals I can see memuha, especially some of these one-man churches, they bring from the top down. Yes. They're exploiting the citizens of this nation. Abra politicians no exploit here no. Now so for no exploiting. Then the Ghanaian, the ordinary Ghanaian is now caught in the crossfire. Everyone asema ekoso munyan transense see hu mo how be free o. Ghana funi na adrium so politicians no mo ya how ya Monday me catch us say sometimes the media has not been fair to our politicians. But you see the danger part of it is when this so-called men of God, some of these men of God, now competition of who should run the biggest cathedral. They are building churches bigger and bigger. The building of these bigger cathedrals is not because to lead you much closer to God. I'm sorry. Let me break the news to you. And yes, will lead you closer to God. It's about the money. It's a competition. The church has become a cash cow. You are vulnerable. You don't understand anything. That's how I want to be. Now, what's someone? You better. A baby and I will be and I may catch a Ghana for and say, Shadio. Why the catch in the Bible? It says, as soon as coupe any year we are a CFA collection board near Jibo. Who is can Muslim for will not do this. Hare Krishna for me so much to collection that. I stand to be corrected though. Hindu form to collection. Mason, Freemason form to na Freemason for crowd omo year say one say, look, this is an organization. They seek to help one another at any given time in need. At the end of FSA, they know how to identify one of their own in times of trouble. A Christopher one's way. What is the Babanaka? A Christopher Nyachum, bunch of hypocrites and crooks and thieves. Modiana say, Bonia Shamoma. Or say, me who, with the investigations I've done with the body of Christ in Ghana, I swear to God, me who be that? This is an organization. They can fight and fight themselves without you imagine. Say Christopher Nego. As of woe, come who bomb say no more. So for minds will bet me a trap. Nipa obi enko kum or sofobi, and they don't care. Yanko bro sofobi. Yanko hey, won bet me bawa sorry. At the abe planty bibi or was sorry. Ni yanko sofo na yes. This is, and we are talking about the church, representing what you call the Holy Grail. Yes. This is how far you can be wicked. Ghana ni awohwe me awutie me. Me nka se jai wa sorry ko. Na mom, dia make a cho no say, one kasa wugina ho no, wo ye onyankopon. One kasa wugina ho no, tumi bi wo mu. Hwehwe saa tumi no, na wonya hu. Now show, broni ni wie ye na ode som ne ba wie no. The next thing ode eta ato ema me no mienu no, eye ade bi of friend say. Democracy. And I open say democracy. Yes, sir. After they left, they came back again and then they introduced what you call democracy. And I must say, Kanamin Kebi. My editor at large, Enoch Kofi Ejiri, has a way of putting it. Democracy. Now, democracy now you're practicing in the United States. Democracy have been practiced for well over 246 years down the line. Question. America for what or one? African American democracy is beginning to look like say Donald Trump say more democracy and yet to say banana republic or third world because democracy of America is sinking too fast. It's your home bono air sinking Africa the Ebeka den. Now share Obi baby say enkwanjie bibi papa bibi to me free Nazareth abana ye democracy. Now here this man defines whether or not democracy would help the world and democracy will survive or not. Say begu sengu tie. Why natural kratawe? And also broni no de bio. Socrates prediction of the fall of democracy. Socrates prediction of the fall of democracy. Na say no canon. Or say quote, democracy must fall because it will try to tailor to everyone. Quote, the poor would want the wealth of the rich, and democracy would give it to them. Young people would want to be respected as elderly, and democracy would give it to them. Women would want to be like men, and democracy would give it to them. And I'm a or say, foreigners would want the rights of the natives and democracy would give it to them. And fraudsters, or see, thieves and fraudsters would want important government functions and democracy would give it to them. And at the time when thieves and fraudsters finally and democratically take authority because criminals and evildoers want power, there would be worse dictatorship than in the time of any monarchy or oligarch, quote unquote. Or say, and at the time when thieves and fraudsters finally and democratically take authority because criminals and evildoers want power, there would be worse dictatorship than in the time of any monarchy and oligarch, unquote. Asema Socrates say can folks asem kesiye Na me de mu be see her for the part 1 of what Ghana Speaks, of course, live on CTV, the Frontline with Kwaku Annan. Great, welcome back. And of course, we've walked one leg of the journey, making 80 minutes gone past the hour 9. This is the Frontline with Kwaku Annan. Folks, loads of messages making kind messages, and then we'll walk the second leg of the journey, which is going to be political. Loads of messages, mame and kinkai Nina and Tenta. I'll say, Kwaku, your Frontline show has started well. It's going to be greater. Keep it up. Lawyer Stephen Asante Bequin. Lawyer, salute. I say, good evening, Kwaku Annan. My Annan is A-N-N-A-N. Jane Kahom, Pacho. Why? I say, we are with you. We all say, hi, Kwaku. This is what we need. Please help us. One Fedi number, Akimoda, and Odifri. I say, hi, Kwaku. Good to see you back on the airwaves. In this crucial year of elections, Ghana needs objective people like you. Welcome and have a successful show. SBA Japan, USA, and not by United States. Also, Kwaku, God will continue to bless you and protect you. None can bring you down. Hallelujah. We shall say, I am able. I like what you are saying. Politics and religion is our biggest problems in us and Africans. We also good evening, sir. I am Ibrahim from Ashaman. I really enjoy the show. I believe the problem is not the books, but those who interpret the books. Secondly, 2 swearing criminals in the name of God. And it's just like adding fuel to fire. God can't be mocked. You are excellent. Well, say, Kwaku, I'm really impressed with your presentation. This is what we call journalism, not engaging in... Also, not engaging in Jadam. I don't know what Jadam means. Also, continue the good way. All right, Harrison, Kojo, Abba, and Odeba. Also, good evening, Mr. Kwaku. I am Ziggy from Agona Swedru. Please, it's only military coup could change the constitution or traditional goals. Traditional goals. General Kutu Ignatius Echampon was a great leader. It's rather unfortunate he is not honored as a national hero. May his soul rest in peace. Kwaku, you are super from Godwin, SCC Kasua Road. We shall see. Good evening, Kwaku. We are watching you live from Tempo Dio restaurant. My name is Chef Soba. One thing I always see that's in Ghana here, when you speak the truth, people won't like you. But thank God you are speaking the truth. More fire. We invite you to come to Temple Dio restaurant to have a lunch with us. Thanks. Fire them. We did your back. Thank you. Hey, more fencing. Temple Dio restaurant. Shout out to you guys. Also, good evening, Kwaku. Thank you for giving us. Let us know about General Echampon. Go to the Hawk TV on YouTube. When you go to Hawk TV on YouTube, the General Echampon, the events documentary, and also call my events Joy News blog because you know I'm gonna collaborate here. Then we will say the only thing I know was quote for Tobeje Golf unquote. See? I say, good evening, boss. You are welcome to the biggest family. Thank you. Me here mo amobe mami akwa abani atnase. Enye mo amugusuro na de bia na mutuetu obi asono. Na Kwaku Annan na odi na ba na odi crusade power. Obi ntia sese Kwaku Annan to CTV. Anyway, greetings to all my guys, my guy. Hey, Joe Cote, you are there. I know you are there, bro. God bless you, all of you. Group chairman, Alahaji, said you are Gongo. Salute you, boss. And my one and only brother, a friend and a brother, Theo, Ogat, Theo. I know you are watching me. You've sent a message. Yes. And then Lizzie, Elizabeth, director of HR. Greetings, We'll say, welcome, boss. Keep the fire burning from Bright, or say, Bunsu Kaswa. Or say, Charlie, say it all. Oh. We are behind you. Expose them. Oh. Obviously, good way of saying, we are not here to worship God, for there is no God to be worshipped, but to live by rendering service to ourselves and being humane in all our dealings, which demands that we prioritize our humanity above our different philosophies. Or see, we are so engaged in collective reasoning that involves critical and generational thinking to create a conducive environment for our survival and sustainability through a good sense of reasoning. We need to take a key interest in studying, okay, dorsal, where there is a thesis nowadays. We also say, wow, Mr. Annan, I'm glad to see you since your previous show. This is my first time watching you on CTV. Namesake. I'm happy for you and keep the work, all right, doing. From Kwaku Ekusha, no, we also say this is Mauli from Pantang. I say even big sport tends to chapels. I say big sports tends to chapels. Can you imagine this? We also say man of truth. Your man, you are my man. More fire. We are also watching you live from Santa Maria, Accra. Good evening, and hope you are all doing good there. And I am McCarthy from Bolga, and I really love your program, especially what you are teaching us. And you are really a presenter and far different from all the Ghanaian presenters. I love what you are teaching us. We all say, you are already blessed with knowledge before you are on TV. Your program is very interesting, and I wish everyone can watch and listen to and learn knowledge and adding for everyone, not only we the youth. Yes, into we share program now. Call a friend to call a friend. No, be a bi unya we no app no social media app no YouTube, Facebook. Wasuma unya bi no so share Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 8:05 p.m. we are airborne. We are saying, okay, well, you were supposed to be born in USA or UK, because I tell you, you can be a history lecturer because you are very intelligent and experienced when it comes to heart. You number one in a million to me. No, I'm not. Again, let me also say this and emphasize a point, is that there are good journalists out there doing fantastic job, except you probably haven't listened to them or watched them. We also say Ghana's biggest disease is political party. Or say the cobwebs that cover the clouding fortunes of Ghana until we renew our minds from the crazy sectarianistics with the traditional liars who pool their resources together and with a deceptive written lies called manifesto win power to take over the nation, and with their political party pro boxers melt the nation fortunes into their greedy bellies. Ghana needs a second independence, and this one is from the oppression of political party cobwebs, and its winner takes all citizens craziness. 50% independence in our parliament would make Ghana work. Excuse me. I say I still believe Ghana would work. Same Kumasi. We all say, hey, my guys in Bolga, Moshemi, Bolga, Michiamo pa Bolga. You know, that's where I grew up. Yeah, I'm not a you. Bolga, when I'm in school, what do you mean? Mates were my senior Isaac Adongo. Or say, we have never practiced democracy. Perhaps democracy. Or say, perhaps democracy. The sugar-coated autocracy by even a slim majority against the fat majority a good example of what Ghana is suffering currently. Sami Kumasi Notwaza. Anonymous will say, I'm so happy watching this very great movement that is being led by you. KAM, the Kwaku Annan movement. Semu. Let me see this. Oh, I'm reading something here. And that was sent by my director of operations. I'm so happy to be associated with this very great movement that is being led by you. KMA Kwaku Annan movement. I'm watching you on TV with pride. And I salute you, sir. Good one. Folks, let's quickly walk the second leg of the journey. And then, now, tonight, we are following this developing story by Ghana Police Administration and a very disturbing nature of events. On the 19th February 2024, Ghana Police Service issued a press release disassociating the service from a purported comments made by DCOP Gabriel Prince Wabu during a panel discussion on Joy News Monday when the station launched its program lineup for the coverage of election 2024. Assembliesi na assemble munye de papa. Tira say na no juada yen ye take it off and our program we take it off no. Sa dan wan so na say sa edwumakuo kese Joy multimedia for so launch almost program lineup for coverage of the election. Now mo frefre stakeholders be brave so mo no be didi nkomo no ne ade. Now when no mo frɛ police penny bi officer bi say omra police officer a member of the can I say the National Elections Security Task Force Architecture ora DCOP Gabriel Prince Wabu papa yi bae eno mbedi nkomo kyerɛkyerɛ niema bibre mu ni ade wey na akopie sɛ papa yi sesi e kase yi say interdiction be ache no e be nti na interdiction be che no well police for na letter no ha say ti me be kan papa yi kodi nkomo awie o owie ya o mo say hey gina ha na no wansem sa press release we was written I'll say police statement on comments by DCOP Mr. Gabriel Prince Wabu on election security. 1. I'll say the attention of the Ghana Police Service has been drawn to an unfortunate statement made by DCOP Mr. Gabriel Prince Wabu during a panel discussion on Joy News today, Monday 19th February 2024. 2. The statement made by DCOP Mr. Gabriel Prince Wabu concerning election security are unfounded and unfounded, number 1, and do not represent the position of the Ghana Police Service. We would therefore like to disassociate the Ghana Police Service completely from this statement and apologize to the Ghana Armed Forces. The conduct of the officer is being subjected to internal disciplinary processes of the Ghana Police Service. The omopatri nan say papa nkomo okodi no Ghana prosifo kire say asem no okokan no ene police anase sa election task force de ben esusuye wo madwin po ene wo mutiri mu po ene wo mokanko ene dwuma wo no mu ba bedi no ene ni bo ebra hey ewuranom tie or see we want to state that under the National Election Security Task Force architecture, the Ghana Police Service works with all other security services, including Ghana Armed Forces, to ensure peace, security, law, and order before, during, and after elections. The approach to the 2024 general elections would be no different. 4. The Ghana Police Service wishes to appeal to the general public to continue to support us and other sister security agencies as we work together to deepen our democratic values during the 2024 elections and beyond. Signed, Grace Ansa Akurofi, Assistant Commissioner of Police, Director Public Affairs in India. I agree. Now, folks, yen radi biwa. Eni me bia koso na menti ase. Na meti ase nso a enye yi. Me pesa meti ase na meti ase nso a enye yi. Now, ye baby se bisensemi. The question on above event, and of course as a developing story, is whether or not, number one, who ordered this man to the program? Why and Osuma Papa is uncle program last year? Number two, who did DCOP Gabriel Prince Wabu go to represent? Program Nasino Okoeno. Mind you, Joy FM for Krata, they command the police administration and they acknowledge. And that's also the reason inform the base. On the back of this letter, Womutu Papa is uncle. So question maybe number two, who did DCOP Gabriel Wabu go to represent? Or representing Wynam? Neho. And or representing police. 3. How composed is the election security task force architecture before, during, and after elections? Edumakuo way, woman kasa womunyina swani saying, womujina saying, womunanko ko muti saying. The also 9. Which briefing took place before his appearance on the show? Answer na obeko hono. The national debeya say security so. Say any tax force, say elections, chaired by the current IGP, Inspector General. The person I before no pronouncing no. Inspector General of Ghana Police, Dr. George Ekufu Dampare. Wona order say Ekuyano. Question remain. Briefing Ben Amodema Gabriel Wabu. Moment briefing be. Number 5. Was he set up? Should I believe in that school of thought that DCOP Prince Wabu was set up? Should I believe in that school of thought? Now, you see, this is some of the dirty things that we do to people in this country. Abra, any baby, ayo madrine say. Openi bia frame openi abotre me yeduma me yeduma o ma associate yes me yeduma papa na me pese IGP Inspector General of Police the amodiye papa we no I think say is bad enough. Now papa no so I don't think say he will go there and speak on something that he doesn't know and will not speak in line. But some setting up, you see, Inspector General of Police, Ora George Ekufu Dampare, and I think that I need to disabuse the minds of his friends and loved ones who feel as though Kwaku Annan hates police officer way. No, Debbie. But let me tell the Inspector General of Police, the day I'll walk with him on that same path would be the day Inspector General of Police will produce the report, which of course me baba ya DB enche e will show we so. The day George Ekufu Dampare will produce the report which covers the murder of JB Dankwa. All right? Yes. The Inspector General of Police, George Ekufu Dampare, would have to speak. President Adu Dankwa Akufo-Addo, who is a blood brother of JB Dankwa, would have to speak. Ghana for Mufise Nimi Nabefa Asias Ako no. Now President Akufo-Addo is out there hypocritically looking for Debea. He's looking for the report, the dead report, whatever you may call it, of why former President John Evans Fifi Atamils. How dare? Now then, JB Dankwa Eya Akufo-Addo nyana damfu. Onyana damfu. Womi enuanom emoja baako. Now you know what he did? When JB Dankwa was killed, asema mo kan ya ne say Modi JB Dankwa wo ebe saying John Dramani Mahama ekon eyesa onyankopon hu Ghana mu mpenimfo weni mu mobo no kakai mu. What is it that we are hearing and seeing now? President Kwaku Akufo-Addo, ne 7-year tenure in office now President Akufo-Addo has jumped into what we call it in political science lame duck period. He's gone. He's swimming there. He's walking down the aisle. Sooner rather than later, gone in oblivion. What is it that President Adodankwa Akufo-Addo will tell the relatives of JB Dankwa? When was the last time? I mean, last time before President Akufo-Addo betina kunyaso. Abesi 7 years. Mati say wa dero and in any of his speeches, even during the era all kind COVID speech in here, abesi so independent speeches. The na Ghana 40 say President Adodankwa Akufo-Addo challenge the IGP said for the report of JB Dankwa bra da Ben Akufo-Addo KB on KB na menye sure so be KB da. Who killed JB Dankwa? Ghana for some person mu hu nioma. Because say don't force me to bring exposés basa please. There are some things here the more we be wuntimi nkura. Monday no te say me a declaration be say somehow may I say maybe I wish I don't know what I know. And reasons are simple. Because sometimes when you know too much, and also when the consequences thereof. But then again, ignorance of it, and yeah, at the papa. I don't want to be ignorant. The pain and the President Akufo-Addo ball. JB Dankwa ni wo no ho asem. The ben or boy obekebi. Inspector General of Police Ekufu Dampare. He was the officer on the beat of this murder case. You didn't share baby then subsequently. Obey route. Me what the reporter and Papa will lobby ya be police IGP. I have that report. Me no babe share. Now you see, Ora Atacha war parliament, please. Mr. Atacha, Honorable Atacha, Bibupa. But she say IGP report that 7-member ad hoc committee, you know, moon tennis our report. Because we know what we know. Me say that 7-member ad hoc committee, do not alter the report about this George Ekufu Dampare as to whether or not a new warrior or police administration at CNN is saying we have too much. Media say me be predict here later na mo amosan dane na mo ye bibi fufuro. But then obi feel say ACP hwan Mensa wanye ni ye na fa he na ye den. Onwa George Ekufu Dampare and was setting papa ne up. Onwa no setting up. Well, yes, sir. Is it in intelligence? Well, the way you see programming your manner, sometimes. But the American say, Ekufu Dampare, IGP, respectfully. Shall we maybe now show another officer be. ASP Bawa Abdul Jalil has written a piece. And in person mechanical krebi edemamo na mebeya di binsu. Today we am about making another serious statement be. Also, since the early hours of today, when I saw the piece, the police press release regarding the harmless comments made by DCOP Gabriel Prince Wabu, who represented the service on a public forum about election security matters, I have felt saddened and have been pondering over what might have influenced the IGP and his PA to make such a statement. Today, it is DCOP, Mr. Prince Gabriel Wabu, who is involved in this unfortunate news, although this should not have been the case. As the majority of us know, majority of us, where am I? Also today, it is DCOP Prince Wabu who is involved in this unfortunate news, although this should not have been the case. As the majority of us know that this humiliation and public ridicule that the police administration has subjected him is not right, but we are all silent about. It's people like me are internally distress, knowing that tomorrow it could be me, ASP Alhaji Bawa Abdul Jalil, or any other officer. It is better we speak up before what is happening touches each and every one of us. Or say perhaps for the first time in the history of the Ghana Police Service, we are witnessing the service disassociating itself from the message conveyed by its own representative of at a public event. This raises questions about the directives provided directly to the DCOP by the IGP or the Chief of Staff when the service receives invitation, quote, directly or indirectly on quote, such as the one from Joy News, the launch of their election headquarters program. The letter invitation undergoes a thorough review process from the registry to the CSO's Director General Administration, DJ Admi, and finally to the IGP, who provides specific instructions on the service role and messaging at the event. It is crucial to note that at times the directives regarding the police statement at such functions are extensively deliberated and agreed upon at the police management board level before an officer is appointed to represent the service. In this particular instance, DCOP Gabriel Prince Wabu was chosen to represent the police service at the event, fully briefed on the police position. It is baffling to many of us why the police service, after selecting and sending a representative, will then publicly discredit and humiliate that individual. It is evident that the position articulated by the DCOP during the Joy News program is in line with established international best practice in election security known to both the police and the military, as well as constitutional and election security experts. Edoso pa minti min kan wi. Folks. Inti papa no waye moden. Papa no edien pa na mo fe se ode ayemo. Hey, onyankopon ti ase o. Well, we dey no be see ha. Na yen sha di bi nso ha. Me babe ye ade keto ebi wa. Viewers, be reminded, pacho aha, emu odu kakra mame. Ti share no so, take note. Viewers, be reminded sooner rather than later. Political and religious exposés will soon hit your homes. Very soon. It will hit your homes hard and harder, so you can make a sense of it all. And che, ye the exposés emu oshio. Na ade ba ko e wo Ghana fo hu ne se wo de asem ne betu ho wie na asem ne ewie no mo ase afechi ni kwaku e na asem we de e na esi me hu in this my ministry of journalism. Na me say eh mo hu ye hu o Ghana fo Ghana fo ye hu o oman ya nipa mo mo pasem mo sen surasem. Again, let me state for the records and state categorically. And let me state that if your name has not been mentioned on our program, do not relegate unto yourself the responsibility to be going around calling people to do what? If it's become appropriate for the platform to call you and to ask you of what we think we need to know from you, I am a journalist. I am not perfect, and I don't want to relegate onto myself I'm the perfect one. It's not even something I want to say. The imperfection of whatever that we do as humans, it's what you do not want to fish out to know why, because you're a human. But onyankopon adom esuntire me wa abotre e wo bere a me de ehwehwe anuomam ansa na manowe me biaka ebiom bibia meka bia nso no na kire se ehu adanse e wo ho. Ever since in my journalism, how many years down the line, the only time the only time I meet Kwaku, me name ye no any nipedue we na mesi a courthouse, a court was when me year publication a former Inspector General of Police David Asantia Pitu, he's still around, meboa, yes, was when the former IGP eye na dwen say maka assembly na asem no enye ne kre to the make court na wo mo court no so mo ye de o ya well wo ye o nye. There's a lawyer called Sameda Akun who works with a special prosecutor wo mo share Cromwell and Associate. I'm sure he's located somewhere here. No any lawyer wo mo wa dwen po bi wo mo trimu de danti wo mba be serve wo mo serve no wo mo twanya ma kire se wo no papa ni di ni birthday no e no mo san court ko ka kire judge ne se wo mo hia what you call is substitutional service o se den e de ama papa na ma ni di ni birthday na kire se Kwaku 77 producer me na menim wo hare ntini wo mo gi wi a na wo mo di epia bonten abekire wi asi na se abrante ni ba mama nka bibi nkyere mu Ghana fu hwe. That is why in here, when some of our judges were being ridiculed by Anas Are Emeyaw Anas, I stood up for some of the judges. Yes, and everybody know this record. Because my wadrin say Ghana sebe yes mra nyedwuma more Ghana inti obi artists I know. Some of the judges are not like the way you think. Judge ni hwe omanim ka chom say no, and you're right. Mun kwahwehwe owura no na mon serve no muso omu hume e wo my we mu. The judge ni kaka ho an say, do you know who you are dealing with? Sa se kire say mi Kwaku minim o judge me ni hu ni dawo. Mini no Sameda Akun bomodia record judge na sem e na omde be ma hwan. The New Crusading Guide, Abdul Malik Kwaku Baku newspaper. Jo say me montage na ebo a ube say newspaper bi Crusading Guide na bom. Omode ebema Crusading Guide man publish here word for word of the judge and saying say quote, do you know who you are dealing with? So then a good judge ni mase asem we a judge kan nche ne kwan so anu no and a judge say mon sanko na mon kwohwehwe papa na mon serve no asema me kan tiawa kire say the next day and a court bail frame na me ka say shia me ha na me ko shia court bail na me send na me say fakọ 2 weeks and omo free case no. The former IGP Shemia onim said the American men can okre he de ma yemu binyasi yemu adio ye buade papa. We have a respect for our elders in this country, but Kwaku Annan, I can never, will not, may not, and cannot be scared. Means nipa wo wiase ha. I can assure you, I was born with it. Means nipa wo and me why a man born by a woman, how dare ubewu eya na muka se so masa yen na ye bewu o ubewu iti minim senti ase misro upanye skana dan ma ubewu ubrebeso enti ye de bebo ma nipa edi ye die ema wunua ti na politician de yam ka se sikadie no munsusu sikadie ni medie. The Inspector General of Police, David Asantia Pietu, Nene Abre. Ye call court one ye could do court on a judge, ye Sanfre case. The Inspector General of Police, David Asantia Pietu, and oh sorry. A small catcher judge say, oh yeah, sorry, case no only be. Hey, ora, we are sure. Judge ne can no masimbi or say no case no on you interested again. Sameda Akun eniamo hu bia nchens abrante no. Any of you who have encountered Sameda Akun, yeah, yes, I'm a catcher say you were once a journalist, you've been a journalist before, worked with Joy FM, BBC and all of you know the ethics, how we do our stuff, but no misleading IGP no. former Santi Apietu. On one kasa no gyina no catch a judge say only case ni biom. Sentia only case ni biom e on one kasa. The judge nearly cited Samedako for contempt of court. Enyem na mu gyina mo say e dey fa hensi na no. When would we asset here? Ena Inspector General of Police IGPC sa nkuku nkaka ahenu aheshi puto hwegum dankwansere bakum huja. Ena judge say me refer case na ma Chief Justice. Then Chief Justice Enimi Yeboah. We say for me na kan wie. The person me catch on say, I am one of a journalist. I can never be scared of taking me to court or a judge or whatever. The judges over there, womu nipa, the reason. Our judges, the reason. Our lawyers, womu nipa, the reason. And yes, we are judges. We are politician. What tell me? What the answer say? Na politician. What tell me? Do you know me? Do you know who I am? Do you know what I can do? Mon sem fun sa no. Momo mine mu what? Now, viewers, and you recall on Monday, I specifically mentioned some names on this program, and I'm saying a moment time they should come and speak to us. Why? What happened prior to the E-levy passage? And here, why boy? I mentioned their names, and I know why. The Vice President, His Excellency Alhaji Muhammadu Bawumia's name was mentioned. Mesa Bo Ora. Kennedy Kwame Akumpreku e Japan, he must speak. Ora Afenyo Markin still remain deputy majority leader. Say if you why issue, the center cannot hold, but still as of now, I don't know, maybe by close of tonight meeting on your Jubilee House, he must speak. Ora Haruna Idrisu must speak, and then the Speaker of our Parliament. The Right Honorable Speaker Alban Kingsford Sumana Bagbin must speak. Moma country Ghana for the course, a dread ye ben a course. Some Mobeka Munkan, Yenim de Ebeka. A prepemu. It's my boarding and my boarding. Now Mobeka, another name was mentioned. Wine. Gabi Asare Ochredakun. Yes. Gabi Asare Ochredakun are many of you. Atunidinze Honorary Prime Minister. I don't know. But Enana Dri, the Amede saw Gabi, the say, Gabi, wherever you are, I still would urge you and entreat you to do the needful before things get out of hand. Whether you call it visa fraud, whatever you call it, when we get to the crossroad, we'll name it. But me say, baby, Gabi Asorochi Daku. Gabi, I know you are following the stories. Even before Amira CTV has said, you are following it because I started giving the tidbits of this. My channel so, and I'm abani here to us. Me say, Gabi Asorochi Daku, do the needful. Say a visa fraud, say a debut because me I didn't know say now we in the first place not in your travel and to adwuma na we but whichever way Gabi Asorochi Daku would accept to take somebody's money, some thousands of pounds sterling, no be kire nipa ne say metimi aboa ema wo dihye etukwan enti fa say sika yi ema me, and Gabi Asorochi Daku took that money, pound sterling, in London. Number 2, Gabi Asorochi Daku also made. Now, Gabi, I'm pushing one button further. You made understatement. Undertaking. Sorry. Undertaking now no. You see, undertaking what sign here, and there was a witness. Now, if you like, I'll walk you home in the area I am more familiar with, which of course you are also very familiar with, and that is what forensic the audit. So that we do forensic. Na Gabi Asorochi Daku ubechre sa undertaking signature na ewo ana enyewo. Impenimfo bi ebisa me nsebi, but eyo mo say Kwaku babebo me same na me can swear to God me nye bida. Gabi Asorochi Daku me say do the needful, come and pay, say sikano. undertaking no on the 2nd of December 2005. How many years in here? And I'm officer. Some of these your politicians we di here pay you. Gabi Asrocha we di here pay. Oh here pay fe no here and na musu mwenye skado do mamo ya motwene mamonsa. Gabi Asrocha 2005 and what Jesus ke every me family relative me family member. Myself enemy mami ye nanti ye dom eko Gabi Asrocha ne office which is just around here, coffee shop nechi ohona na Gabi Asrocha office wo. When we came to the office, Gabi Asrocha saw me mami. The witness no what office one why Magas, also known as why Semuni Magas Egbert Fable meboa Egbert wo munko bisa no obi bebi sase Kwaku adinti na aba ne se kire se ya bo Gabi epunu mu aba from 2005 basis at time we na untu eska we na ba dey. Folks ebe na ebe na me pese me kire mo say a lot is coming. Exposés no a lot is coming. Na me de be wie kura no maybe catch them say there's a expose be a air bar yatunidin a grand conspiracy to have the president assassinated, quote unquote. A document is coming to your door very close. A grand conspiracy to have the president assassinated by elements within, quote unquote. And then a top secret blueprint uncovered. The roadmap to the downquest hegemony. A top secret blueprint uncovered. The roadmap to the downquest hegemony in Ghana. Indeed, the blueprints would also reveal the dark secrets of conglomeration of roadmap, detailing an alleged orchestration of a paramount chief together with echelons in government to capture state power. To capture the state power. And you make a sense of it. This expose is all coming. A lot. Folks, this has been the Frontline, of course. Came to you through this very television, CTV, captured across many dozens radio stations, and of course, live on the superhighway on Facebook and of course, YouTube on my CTV GH. And of course, Ubenya program ways we me social media handle. Oko YouTube and I call TikTok and so the Frontline Ghana, Ubenya program is be on now and watch it. Me power bombardier call a friend to call a friend. Say show no Kwaku Annan back on screen. Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Time no 8:05 p.m. Then we are airborne. Shannon so we are a company. Mo person be advertise. Mo person be bibia ankro bibia uton wedruane. Any day will be our person bomber. Come freely, come and advertise. Ewa bra. The CTV marketing officers and anyway didn't come at the 2 and person about live interview cry bear provisions the amount and manoma akosu kama of course this has been the Frontline tonight edition mede bro yankopon yadma same time 8:05 p.m. Friday you know about the end of the week and of course one more bo me chidom no executive producer Yaw Yamba and then social media editor Kens Campbell and a boy, and of course, camera guys, Samson, I guess. Yes. He's just right beside me. And of course, Amando Nitego, and a director of TV, Same. Debbie, I mean, to me, Modina account. Same Adenu, yes, great man, always. So making sure Charlie the program take off before Charlie he disappears. Great man, and Omoshe Bomichman. Then MCR Joshua. Great guy. Same time, Friday, we will come and mark the end of the week. Thank God it's Friday. Until same time I come your way. This has been the Frontline with Kwaku Annan. Editors at large, Enoch Kofi Ejiri, Director of Research, and of course Kofi Ansa. All of you did a great and fantastic research for the show. Until same time I come your way, Friday. Have a good night.
sɛ wakoma so adeɛ ɛne w'ani so ade hunu ne sɛ wobetu kwanko adeɛ a ɛneɛ sisi yɛ hwehwɛ Trinity of Arc Limited Company na wɔn mua wɔn na anya akonya kɛse a deɛ bira da adeɛ bɛkyi bia wɔde ɔmanfo tu kwan ebi kɔ Australia no na ebi so kɔ UK na ebi kɔ Canada, France, Hungary, Malta, Romania, Slovakia, Brazil, Czech Republic, Estonia, Portugal, Mexico, Poland, Croatia, Schengen, Amaba, Bia, so apesa okode. Trinity of Arc for Edwobeko. Nesanyame achawade a wonim ball bo na apesa okokata. Ekobo bola obeya ho hye amwa ko simple. Sesia make say adwuma ba edoso. Ya wo promanfo akoye sa adwuma no. Ohia doctors, nurses, midwives, lab technicians, any health workers. Adwuma na bin ewo Canada, UK, any aman kaye no so. Any adwuma sa paye ediam obia obetima shop attendants, uye mason, carpenters, tilers, drivers, mechanics, plumbers, farmers, caterers,